Good morning, Groovers, and welcome to Traces of Nuts, the channel where we tackle all the big issues. And today, once again, we're in the extremist dive bar of YouTube asking the question, why is everyone on YouTube a liar? Can't people just be wrong sometimes? Let's have some drive therapy and head to work on this rainy Friday in Tasmania, Australia. Let's go, Groovers. Boom, boom. Oh, yeah, rev that four-cylinder. Oh, yeah. Friday, I'm in love. Trixie, tension, hello. Arriving before I even leave the driveway. Morgan, hello. You're wrong all the time? Good morning, gorgeous. Nothing wrong with being wrong. But once again, this is how sad my life is, right? I'm like, I really want to go live on the drive into work because look at it, it's rainy, different sort of perspective when it's a rainy day. I'm very happy my tank is filling up. And I'm like, what do I need to vent about? Is it the riots in Melbourne? Is it the anti-abortion stance in Texas? No, it's people using the word liar all the time on YouTube. The big issues. The big issues. Are most of them male? The liars? Or the people calling people liars? No, I think the people calling people liars, well, I mean, I think YouTube's got a very unbalanced gender position in, at least in the sort of communities where we all met. Like, I think if we're in the gaming community, we'd be following a lot more dudes, you know? Because, I mean, I do follow some gamers, and I don't follow one female gamer, but I follow quite a few dude gamers, and I don't game. But some of them are quite funny. Like, the liars. Oh, no, the liars. I think anyone can be a liar on YouTube. All you've got to do to be called a liar is, well, that's a good point too, Morgan, like screenshots. But that's different. That's when people are lying. I'm talking about people that just get something wrong or forget something, or they're misinformed and but it's come from like a reputable source and they repeat it without doing their own homework. Like a liar is somebody who is saying something deliberately trying to deceive somebody else. Like, there has to be an intention to deceive, to be lying. But somebody that just forgets something, and that's where I thought I'd do drive therapy. I fucking forget heaps of shit. Like, I did a debate yesterday. The team I was in won. It was a comedy debate. Do you think I can tell you what I was wearing in the debate yesterday? Actually, I just remembered what I was wearing. But what I ate for breakfast, wouldn't have a fucking clue. And if I said, oh, I think I had porridge. And then the next day I go live and I'm like, oh, guys, I was wrong. I didn't have porridge. I had Vegemite on toast. You're a liar. No, I'm vague and forgetful. And some things just aren't that important for me to commit them to memory when my brain cells are perishing on the daily. You know what I mean? Um, Hi, Ruth. Actually, funny enough, the guy in the debate with me, one of the guys in my team, he's got a Santa Claus business, and funny enough, when we caught up the other night to go through our arguments, and I didn't realise he had a Santa Claus business, and I don't know how we got onto it, but I went on this rant about how, as children, you know, our parents are constantly. My mum used to say to us all the time, liars go to jail as her way of sort of saying, don't lie, you're going to go to jail. And I said, she was really full on about that. Hey, beautiful Skyzy, how you doing? But then they lied to us about Father Christmas, the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy. And when you get older and you realise they were bullshitting you, you're like, well, the worst offence I could have committed when I was 5 was telling a lie. And my mum repeatedly would remind the 3 of us, liars go to jail. That was just checking I've got my makeup. Oh, thank God I have. Not that it really matters. I don't think I've got any clients face to face today, but I like to have on a little face, especially because we often wear jeans to work. I mean, we always wear really nice boots and tops and stuff, but you want to at least have a face on so you don't look like you're about to muck out the garden shed. Morgan, if you say what with a question mark, I'm like, what? 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 Anywho, so yeah, he after I berated my parents for bullshitting us about Father Christmas, Daryl was like, I've got a Father Christmas business. I'm perpetuating the lie. I was like, well, there you are, but at least your motivation is income. But yeah, it's something that's grated my gears on YouTube from day one. Just the hyperbole used by people, the limited vocabulary. And I heard a creator. I've heard several creators. Well, I mean, not every. So many creators. That's their default word, liar. When somebody gets something wrong, somebody forgets something, somebody says, "Oh, I read this or I heard this," and they were misinformed. Oh, uh-oh. I did think right before I said that, I was like, there'll be someone in my chat who's 73 and still believes in the Easter Bunny. But then it was Morgan, who's not even close to 73. But why is YouTube so extreme, right? We've talked about this many times. For example, look at all the channels that get their knickers in a twist. If somebody from their channel, like one of their subs, is hanging out in the chat on a channel that they don't like, that it's me or nothing kind of attitude. And then you've got these, there's just things that happen on YouTube that don't happen in the real world. Like people, I won't tell your mum, you keep making her believe it. El Marco Chinko. El Marco Chinko and Morgan, you need to give each other a virtual hug. Give each other a virtual hug. Curl up in the beanbags and just have a little cry. Support each other through this. And you'll be fine. It's not how my Friday started. I had spring in my step, and now I'm ruining the dreams of small children. But at least you've got each other. El Marco, Chinko, Morgan, just go to the breakout room and have a cry. I did see your comment, Ruth. I've got to really focus on the road a bit today because of the traffic conditions. But that's funny. Horses are zebras with no clothes on. That's so funny. Hello, Sunnyside. We are off to work, yes. Hey, guys, don't forget to yell at me in caps too. And the shorter the sentence, the more likely I'm going to be able to read it, if and when I can read it. I'm going the pretty way, so the scenic route, so there won't be a lot of crawling in traffic. But if you're sort of chatting to each other, go, feel free to go lowercase, and I don't go, oh, I missed a comment. But hi to everyone coming in. But yeah, I heard a creator yesterday calling a person, like a reporter, a liar, and I'm like, fucking hell, can we just come up with some new words? People make mistakes. Why is liar the default? Like, I don't know about you guys, but I would not call a friend of mine a liar if they said something that was wrong, unless I knew that they were lying, and then I'd be like, actually, you're lying. That's not what happened at all. But I wouldn't be like, someone says something wrong or they forget something. Oh, you're a liar. Why is everything so fucking extreme on YouTube? People have a disagreement in the real world and they're like, look, I'm a bit heated at the moment. I might just take a bit of a breather, calm down a bit. I don't want to have a shouting match with you. Let's talk about this. Or they might just get straight into, discussing it like adults. But on YouTube, it goes from 0 to 100. The banshees start wailing and swearing and calling people all kinds of shit. It's like, I don't know why YouTube has this sort of one or the other. There's not a lot of middle ground. You were traumatized. I think that's funny. The stories about your dad crack me up. I reckon he sounds like a hoot. I agree, Sunnyside. They leave their manners at the door. That's the problem with all social media platforms, isn't it? It's all those sort of, social pleasantries and manners and that sort of opportunity to be vocal and nasty, hiding behind your computer screen. Also, I mean, look at Facebook. My God, that's just been a quagmire of shit for years. All these assholes that never had the guts to speak up to someone face to face suddenly had a keyboard and a screen, and they just were like, yeah, I've got a platform. I'm going to be an asshole every day. And you can kind of tell that they wake up like, who am I going to fight with today? I can't do an evil voice. That's me being evil. I sound like a 93-year-old man with emphysema who needs a throat lozenge. It just kind of blows. Oh, stop saying that, Tori. So here's me saying, get a new word other than lie. I've got to get a new expression other than blows my mind. But it does blow my mind. That's why I can't leave YouTube. It's like I'm watching my little people every day, and it's this little social experiment of bewilderment. I seriously watch. I've watched YouTube in bewildered awe 95% of the time. But come on, guys. I mean, there are so many people that use words on YouTube too that kind of left our vocabulary when we were like 10. At least in my group of friends. Lie is one of them. You're a liar. Jealous is another one. You're jealous. I mean, really? Well, yeah, you're not yelling, Sunnyside, because I'm asking. Well, you are, but I'm asking you to. I like it. Um, yeah, look, sensationalism equals clicks, but I'm talking more about people that are just, well, be sensationalist with a broader vocabulary. Can we expand our vocabulary a little? Sunny is asleep. For those of you who, I think everyone in here knows me and my channel, but Sunny's my beautiful cat. I'm still laughing my head off that she can't stand my friend Laura. She loves people so much she almost bursts with excitement when somebody rocks up. Oh, Marco Chinko's met Laura. He knows Lawsy. But she just had she came out in the morning and she walks into the kitchen. She's like, good morning, Sunny. And I just think it's hilarious. Like, Laura is one of my closest friends. And this cat who almost does backflips when people visit. She's just the perfect hostess. She flirts. She's so beautiful that people just fall in love with her. And she's all smoochy and sweet, and butter wouldn't melt in her mouth. And she just hates Laura. But Laura and I do think with her it is actually jealousy. Laura was taking the attention away from Mum, and Mum was focusing on Laura, and Sonny didn't like it. She was jealous for sure. But she's a 9-year-old cat, like 9-year-old cats can be jealous. I don't know what Morgan's responding to. I'm wondering if it's A driving on the left side of the road. Somebody got car sick the other day watching me driving. So if you're prone to getting car sick, and you want to listen, because we're tackling the big issues here. I can't imagine why anyone wouldn't want to listen. Just listen, don't watch. The other thing is too, like, cars on the road look like they're going way faster than we actually are when you go live and you're driving. A lot of the time people will tell, like, slow down. I'm doing 50 kilometres an hour, not miles, 50 Ks. It's fuck all, man. I feel like here it's 100 kilometres an hour. It'll probably look like I'm doing a million miles an hour. She has earned her right to be jealous, but I've also ruined her. I've spoiled her rotten. Oh, you don't like the caps thing? Oh, come on, guys. Snowflakes yell at me. I like it. Oh, she totally owns me, Ruth. Totally. She was on my lap last night. I was busting to make a cup of tea. I was busting to go to the loo. Heck, I was busting to grab my dinner. 2 hours I let her snore her head off on my lap. Didn't move a millimetre. God forbid I wake her up. She doesn't wake up well, that one. But if she chooses to wake up herself, she's fine. But waking up because I move a millimetre, it's not pretty. She's very good at being a grump. Exactly, the correct side of the road. But yeah, I feel sorry for all of these people out in YouTube land that are just, engaged in conversations. They get screamed at for being liars. And I thought, what else? I had nothing. That is the biggest niggle in my mind today, that I wanted to get some drive therapy about. People calling other people on YouTube live. If that is the biggest niggle in your life, you're doing all right, I reckon. Plus, I wanted you to see what a beautiful rainy morning. I love the rain. My tank is filling up. Yay. I was going to have to order water next week, but now I don't. Woohoo. Thank you, Mother Nature. Free water. Not that I mind paying. It's not expensive, but when you live in rural areas and you're on tank water, you're on tanks, when it rains, it's like Christmas. Yeah, I heard people being called liars, but again, like, oh my God. And let's talk about Brian Laundrie, right? Because that's where a lot of the commentators who were calling everyone else under the sun a fucking liar seem to be. Here's a question for you. Is this case worse than Chris Watts? Not the actual crime, but the coverage. like a news station that seems to be live at all hours of the day and night in Australia, just talking about where Brian Laundrie might be. How can they like? How can they dedicate that much time to one story? Is it a quiet little town where they are and they've got nothing else to talk about? I mean, I just want them to break away from that story for a minute and go, in breaking news, a cow is stuck in a dam. Currently, people are attending with four-wheel drives to try and pull the chubby moo out of the pond. Like, when we were being saturated with Summer Wells case, I made the point one day in a live about that how would you feel if, look how foggy it is, Groovers? It's like England in summer. Sorry, Ruth. But with Summer Wells, when that was every second bloody thing in your timeline was about that, I made the point in one of my lives about if you were a parent of a missing child and you can't get anyone to cover it or talk about it or get the message out there, would you be a little bit pissed off that Summer Wells was getting so much attention? And I'm starting to feel the same way about this Brian Laundrie case, and I agree with Gabby Petito's parents. There's so many missing people out there that deserve the amount of media attention that Gabby got, and people should be putting all of their time and energy into getting stories out there about all the missing people and kids, not just two. Well, I mean, yeah, if you strip it back to basics, that's so true, Sunnyside. It is about getting views and making money. And we've seen a couple of channels just explode, in a very short space of time because of their coverage of this particular case. But it kind of bugs me when there's channels like mine, like I'm doing drive therapy and we're tackling serious issues like people using the word liar too much on YouTube. I mean, that is deep, profound, and I think it's important too for society and for humanity. And I've been on YouTube for over 3 years, and there are fuckers that go live about Brian Laundrie and where the hell he is every day that get more people in their chat than I have subscribers. I am saving lives. You're right, Morgan. I mean, we're on a mission here. We're getting rid of YouTube hyperbole. We are demanding broadening your vocabulary. We're saving lives. Just like England, except for all the ditches. You saying we've got a heap of ditches? Do you mean like holes in the road, potholes? Geez, picky. It was on a country road. They're not a priority for the pothole. Is that what you mean, Ruth? I'll picket the council tomorrow. Fill in the potholes, the ditches. England is offended by the number of potholes on Tasmanian country roads. Fill them. Now I'm going to try and deliberately drive through them. But you might be talking about something different. I don't know. I have a fucking clue. This is the only time I can read chat for a little while. Once we get through this little town, it's windy road. That's where people get car sick. So if you've got a question or something to say it now. Or forever hold your penis. It's fuck, I just wish they'd find him. So people would shut the fuck up about it. If I hear one more theory about him, I personally think he's dead in a ditch. I don't really. I don't give a fuck. I mean, he's fucked wherever he is. If he's dead, he's fucked. If they find him, he's fucked. There's a bit of argy-bargy going on in the street outside his parents' house with the neighbour who was arrested, I believe. Oh, you're surrounded by ditches. Are you saying we have a lack of? Far out. Tell the people on social media pages about Tasmania complaining about the condition of our roads. That your roads are worse. They'll still complain about our roads. Whingers. Some days I think Australians are trying to take the title of whinging Homs off you, whinging Aussies. The shit people complain about in Australia blows my mind. No, Tory, stop it. The number of people who complain about trivial things in Australia confounds me. Our government charges us, hits us up with really high taxes, but as a result of that, we have free public health and all kinds of benefits. But it's created a population of people expecting handouts all the time. And if they don't get them, they fucking whinge, even though they're still getting, a family parent bonus or a baby bonus or free healthcare, whatever. If they miss out on something, they fucking lose their shit. Like in Tassie recently, our government did the third round of travel vouchers. And you go in like a lottery. And if your name is selected, and we're talking a shitload of money in these vouchers, but if you're selected, you get to go somewhere in Tasmania, go away for a weekend or a week or whatever, and you get to put $200 towards your accommodation. And you also get $100 to spend on an experience, like using a tourism outlet in the area that you go to. You get $100 off your ticket. So you can have up to like $300 to use. But the way it works is you've got to book the holiday or the night away or whatever and do it and do the experience and then submit your invoices and be reimbursed. Now I didn't get vouchers in the first two draws, but I got one in this one. And when I went online to find somewhere to go and a night that I could go away and stay there, so many places were booked out, which is awesome. It's absolutely awesome. So they've actually extended it till the end of October because people like me just couldn't get in anywhere. And I wasn't going to go to some place where I didn't want to be just for the sake of the AOC juggernaut. Hello, Tory, still undefeated. I do not know the war you're fighting. But I'm sad to hear that. Soldier on, trooper. Anyway, so the vouchers, right? So I missed out on the first two. It didn't bother me. I was like, what's a lottery? Not everyone can win a voucher. And then I got one. But I was reading when they announced the extension because, pardon me, so many people couldn't get in anywhere to use their vouchers. You should have heard the whinging. All those lucky bastards who won vouchers and they're not even using them. We couldn't get in anywhere, you dumb fucks. The article is the government is extending the amount of time in which to redeem your vouchers because so many people booked in places and nobody else could go in. I mean, there were weird little places I could have gone, but why would I leave my beautiful home and sunny to go and spend a night in some little shit box, in some little, you know, fucking weird little town somewhere where there's nothing to do and just sit in some cheap hotel that smells of disinfectant, femme fresh and tobacco for a night just to redeem a voucher? No. I'm not going to be crazy picky about where I go, but I want to go somewhere that it feels like I've gone on a little adventure and had a fun night away. But all these people were whinging, and there are people on there saying, we couldn't get in anywhere. There were other people who did get vouchers, and because they couldn't book in anywhere, you can return them, and there's like a waiting list. And they were like, oh, shit, bummed we returned them when we could have waited and used it with the extension. But so many people complaining, and I'm thinking, yeah, you're probably fucking sitting there on your government benefits with your slab of beer and your carton of ciggies. You've just taken your family to free medical for your fucking free, for your checkups, and you've got your free dental happening, and probably got a baby bonus, and instead of spending it on things for the baby, you bought a widescreen TV, and you're whinging about not getting a travel voucher that you probably wouldn't use when you realise you have to pay up front and then submit your invoices to be reimbursed. But instead of just going, wow, how cool, the government is encouraging Tasmanians to travel around Tasmania and put money back into the economy and into tourism businesses to keep them afloat during these crazy COVID times, they're straight online bitching because they didn't get one that they probably wouldn't have been able to use anyway. Because that was the other thing. Someone's like, oh, this is bullshit. The government's giving you $300, but you've got to spend $300 to get it back? That's bullshit. So here's the question, guys. I've narrowed it down to 2 experiences, and you guys can choose which one you'd like me to do. One of them is I'd really love to show you the Bay of Fires in Tassie. It's one of my most favourite places. It's breathtaking. It's stunning. It's absolutely beautiful. And up there is an opportunity to do some glamping. We fall bell tent, and there's communal facilities, but they're really lovely. And the dude is a chef, and he cooks up dinners, and you all sort of sit around fire pots and meet everyone, all the other travellers. But it's high end, like it's glamping. It's not backpacking or caravan park sort of stuff. It's posh, and it's up near the Bay of Fires. But if I go there, it'll be a 2-night trip. Now, I've got plenty of people that can help with Sunny. She'll stay at home. There's friends of mine that can go up and feed her and play with her and hang out with her and all that sort of shit. But it would mean if I took that option, the vouchers will cover about 1/3 of the accommodation, and I get to show you all the Bay of Fires. So that's option A. The only downer for me, I love camping and glamping, but I don't like communal facilities, even if they're posh. But, The second option is to just go away for one night to another place in Tassie that is exquisite, and it's on the east coast. in a coastal town called Swansea, and it's called Piedmont. And they have these gorgeous cabins, or they're more like little cottages, really, that have got, like a little wood heater and beautiful big comfy beds and gorgeous linen, your own bathroom. And Piedmont has a restaurant as well, and it's considered one of the best restaurants in Tasmania. And it's also on the waterfront, like it's beautiful. But the downside of Piedmont for me is I'll be eating in one of the best restaurants in Tasmania, but probably sitting at a table on my own. Because most people that go there, there'd be a lot of couples. I don't think the restaurant has a shared table for solo travellers. I mean, they might, I don't know. But I don't know if I want to sit and eat this incredible meal. And it's not the sort of restaurant I could go live on YouTube and show you what I'm eating. And so which one? You choose B, especially saying, oh, this is just one day. It'll be sunny here tomorrow. This isn't typical. Well, I mean, it's warm. It's not cold today. It's just raining. It's spring. We're about to go into daylight saving too. So, but you're right. I mean, the glamping. I mean, they're not bell tents that are going to get soggy and revolting. But I could go live from inside my tent if it was like this. But you're thinking maybe do the cozy up in Piedmont. I mean, I'll check the weather. If there is a rainy day, Piedmont would be beautiful because it's cozy little cabins and they've got little, wood heaters in them, and all I'd have to do is just get dressed up to go to dinner. But I don't know if I need to do a bit of research and see if they've got a share table. Then I'll go because I'm happy to meet travellers and other people and have a good old chat. But I'm not sure I want to sit at a table on my own in a restaurant full of tables with couples or groups of 4 or whatever sitting at them. I don't mind going off to restaurants and cafes and stuff and eating on my own, but other people, it bothers them. You're constantly stared at. I'm feeling both. No, Sunny can't go to either. There are places in Tassie you can take cats. There's a place in St Helens which isn't far from Bay of Fires that you can take cats, but even though I know Sunny was fine when she got out of her carrier in my car, like she doesn't seem fazed by being in a car. She's so fast that I get nervous when we get to where we have to go, getting her out without her jumping out. Like, she's an explorer. And I think it'd be really stressful to go somewhere and, have this lovely drive and then she jumps out of the car and takes off. Yeah, me too, Morgan. I don't mind having single meals, and I actually quite enjoy it. I'd rather have a meal on my own than be sitting there with my partner and we're at that stage where we've got nothing to say to each other. See, if we want to talk about who we judge in restaurants, I judge the couples that go out and spend the whole time on their phones, fucking around with their phones, or just not talking to each other. I judge them, so... But it is interesting that people eating on their own in a restaurant or a cafe make other people, not so much cafes, but restaurants, it makes other people nervous and they stare at you. But that was my one regret. When I went to the Maldives, which was on my bucket list, and I absolutely loved it for reasons I wasn't expecting. I thought I was just going to be besotted with the beauty of the place and just being there. Um, but I ended up meeting a Muslim family, and they were so much fun. And they took me to places that the tourists don't really get to see. And I learned a lot about the reality of resorts in places like the Maldives. And, you know, you've got these pristine resorts, but then on the other side of the island, there's like this fucking floating mass of rubbish and all that sort of stuff. But I really enjoyed it. But being a solo traveller in a place like that, it was such a romantic place. And there were just so many couples. I mean, there were a few families, but most of them were French, and they treated me like shit. You know, they weren't welcoming. I couldn't go and sit at the table with them. Um, and I definitely got judged, you know, all the sort of, what's that girl doing all on her own? But I had a ball there. Like, I had an amazing, and I really got to know the culture of the place and the people of the place. And I probably had a better time, really, than all of these other people that just sat by the pool all day, whereas I was being taken to actual islands that aren't tourist islands and meeting families and grandmothers and grandfathers and going fishing. And I got taken out to this surfing spot, like a secret surf spot that the tourists aren't actually allowed to go to, and got to watch some world champion surfers. It was like incredible. I had a really good time. But dinner at the resorts was always a little bit awkward. I think, you know, like it's 2021. I think resorts and hotels and stuff should have share tables because there's a shitload of solo travellers out there. And share tables are great. You meet all kinds of interesting people. And you don't have to put up with the stares of the judgy couples who stare at you because you're on your own while they're ignoring their partner and fucking around on their phone. I was in a high-end restaurant, degustation restaurant, and there was a woman playing Candy Crush Saga, waiting for the next course to roll out. Didn't say a word to her husband or partner. Just sat there playing Candy Crush in a, you know, like a $500 a head restaurant with wine matching on top of that. Like, that's living. That's fun. G'day, Aussie. We've covered why people on YouTube need to broaden the vocabulary because I'm sick of people's default for anyone who forgets something, gets something wrong, or is misinformed and repeats it without doing their research, which is on them. But when it comes from a reputable source, you sort of, you know, people are lazy. They're like, oh, it's a reputable source. I don't need to do my homework. You're a liar. No, I'm forgetful and vague. And I got something wrong. My bad. You're a liar. Liar. And once you get one thing wrong on YouTube and somebody calls you a liar, you're fucked. Forever a liar. Where will we see surfers? Probably not at either of the places I'm thinking of going to because they're remote, spectacular World Heritage beaches. Well, one of them is. Bay of Fires is. But it's not. It's not a surf beach. But, you know, I'm going to another beach, so I kind of want it to be a bit different to the beach I live on. So you'll just have to join me for my next beach walk, Morgan, for the surfers. Because I don't think you'll see any surfers at Swansea or Bay of Fires. I'll pack my boogie board just in case, and I'll walk down to the beach, and you can watch me walking down to the water with my boogie board. And you'll be like, yeah, there's a surfer. But yeah, I mean, Swansea's fun too. Like, there's a lot of things I could do in Swansea. Bay of Fires is stunning. To be honest, I'm choosing both of these are my preferred location because they've got amazing reputations for the food. And that part of my trip you're not going to see. Although I will get, I think at both places, the chefs do up breakfast hampers for you. That would be pretty gourmet and stunning, I reckon. They won't be a standard box of cereal and milk in a, long life little carton and some fruit. They'll be fancy, yummy. But yeah, do I vlog from a bell tent or do I vlog from a cottage? But my main reason for going to both, apart from being able to show you off some pretty, pretty parts of Tassie, is really so I can shove some of the best Tasmanian food in my face. Maybe I'll do a long range forecast and or throw a third option into the mix just to confuse everybody. Because there is a third option, but it's also a foodie location, Pump House Point. Now, Pump House Point is also high end, known for its amazing restaurant, and they do have a share table. And it's a pump house over a lake, and they give you bikes to ride around. But see, Pump House Point is a really perfect winter location. Big open fires, big communal lounge area with big leather couches, port, scotch, gins that you drink neat, and when it snows up there, it's so beautiful. But again, I want to go there for the food, but you would enjoy the scenery. But they do cater to solo travellers. They do have a share table. Were you guys talking about where there's another Swansea? I've been to Swansea in Wales. People do throw the liar word around too much. Liar, jealous. And they're words that we used when we were in high school. Like, when you become an adult, you stop saying liar because you realise that everyone makes mistakes. People get things wrong. People forget shit. Just because you forgot something and say something and it wasn't correct doesn't make you a liar. It makes you forgetful. Jealous. When you become an adult, you stop saying you're just jealous and you say they must be envious. They're all fancy Aussie, but I've got these vouchers, and if I'm going to go away, I've got to go somewhere, bucket list, and yummy food. They're my prerequisites. There's no point me getting like a little beach house down on the Tasman Peninsula when I live in a beach house on the Tasman Peninsula. You know what I mean? I don't want to stay in the city. I want to go somewhere that will be pretty, that I can show off another. Well, everywhere in Tassie is pretty, but I'd like to show off, a favourite part of Tassie for you guys. But I also want to eat amazing food. Oh shit, just over the road. I don't know if you caught it, but there's Morgan's. No parking allowed. Hey, Casper. I love Swansea in Wales. I love Swansea and Tassie. Whenever I travel, if I go to a country, the first thing I do is see if there's a place that has the same name as somewhere where I live. And like there's a Brighton in every state of Australia. So guess where I went when I went to England? Morgan, that's an awesome strange fact. Well done. Well done. I'm sure John would be proud of you. It puts it into perspective how young he was when he died though, doesn't it? Swansea does have a medieval castle, but I've got to say, Ruth, by the time I reached Llandudno up in the north of Wales, I had seen more castles than I needed to see in my lifetime. I saw so many castles in Wales. Like I had to actually go to them because I was on a famille and I was reporting back to Australia on behalf of Visit Wales about how wonderful Wales is. And the itinerary, every town I went to had a castle that I had to go to. Some of them had more than one. I think I went to three in Cardiff. I was so fucking excited when one day I woke up and I got to do this Welsh sport called fuck, what's it called? It's not canyoning. You put on abseiling equipment and you basically scramble over rocks and through water to sort of trace the coastline. And it's a Welsh sport. Another thing I did was I went up on a train, and then when we all get to the top, we had to race back down. It was a long time ago. See, I can't remember what it was called. And if I said its name and I was wrong, according to YouTube, I'd be a liar. Not just someone who forgot 90% of my trip to Wales because I drank a lot in Wales. Everyone I met wanted to buy me a drink. The other thing that happened to me a lot in Wales, which was quite bizarre, no matter what pub I went to in what town, I reckon 70% of the time I'd rock up at a pub and there'd be this riotous party going on and it would be a wake for somebody. I went to so many wakes. Yeah, they do it all around the coast. No, it wasn't called tombstoning when I did it. Um, that doesn't ring a bell for me, tombstoning, but the train was fun. And but yeah, and then the other thing I did, I went to like an eco village. They were sort of very progressive, creating like a self-sustainable, eco-friendly village. And I rocked up and I get out of the car and go to like the visitor centre, and I'm greeted by an Australian chick, and she's like, "G'day, who are you?" And I said, "I'm Tori." And she's like, "Welcome, Tori." And I'm like, "Where are you from?" And she said, "Byron Bay." Like very, very progressive village. It was really interesting. I'm just putting my face on. So I'll momentarily read chat with my glasses on and then I have to take my glasses off to put my face on. I've got to find what that sport was called. I think it might be canyoning. No. See, if I say that and it's not, I'm a liar. Liar. Liars go to jail. So Brian Laundrie, did anyone comment on that bloody saga? Why do 5,000 channels have to cover it? Couldn't just like one channel cover it and everyone just goes to that channel? There's one channel in particular that seems to be live about it endlessly, and I really don't know why they have so many people watching it. The coverage is awful. there's usually two hosts, and one of them will say something as fact, and they're a liar. They'll say something as fact and be very confident about what they say, and then someone in chat will correct them, and then they'll be like, well, I don't know everything. And it's like, well, don't be so bloody emphatic that you're right on that, like, throw it out there. Is this possibly what the situation is? And someone in chat will tell you what it is, but that shits me. It's like, well, you're admitting you don't know anything, but you're also very firm on your views and say things as fact. And when somebody points out you might be a little bit wrong, you're a liar. No, you're just wrong. And that kind of irks me. But how do you guys feel about it? Are you all? Yeah, I want all the liars' pants to catch on fire, Aussie. Oh yeah, that's yeah, that was what actually that's a good point, Morgan. Not so much about the people that go live first to announce that somebody's died, which is in itself really weird too. But there's that competitive element too, like we were the first to break this, or we were the first to say this, or I told you all this. Like this particular one that I was talking about before with the two co-hosts, um, seems to think that you get bragging rights because they're live and they say something that everyone's thinking anyway. And then they're in their community page going, see, I told you so. I said it first. See, I was right. And it's like you're taking bragging rights over the death of a young girl and potentially murdered by her partner. And you're taking bragging rights just because you're live on YouTube. Like, every single person in your chat thought that too, just because you had a microphone and you said it. What the fuck? That's why I don't like that channel at all. And I can't stand the channels that grow really quickly, and so do the egos of the YouTube creator. They're playing, this particular channel played, that critical video that was taken by the Bethune that pretty much, pinpointed where Gabby was found. In the middle of playing their video and they're talking in it, this fucking creator's going, don't forget to hit the likes and, the thumbs up, thumbs down. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'm like, we all want to listen to, this was when it first broke too. It's like, we want to listen to what this couple's talking about in the car. And in the middle of her playing that, she's fucking asking for likes and subscribes. Fuck off. Yeah, I agree, Morgan. They do say shit, and then if it comes true again, it'll go to bragging rights. I said that first. Oh my God. I don't know why we're on YouTube, all of us in my chat right now. Why are we stuck at the Hotel California? I mean, I know why. I can't look away because they make me feel better about myself. But I am looking forward to the day that Brian Laundrie is found, and I hope that people just stop. I hope it doesn't become a Chris Watts and people are still talking about it 3 years later and that's all they talk about. Like, imagine, like, how many people have gone missing since Gabby went missing that nobody's talking about, just in America? Like, isn't your statistic really, like, full on? It's like 40 people a day or something go missing in the States? Is that right, or am I a liar? Liar, liar, pants on fire. You're not good at my drive therapy. Yeah, look, my drive therapy is not, you know, it's not approved by the Australian Medical Association. But, you can be a life coach on YouTube with minimal credentials. I'm sure I could find some sort of pseudo therapy certificate on the back of a cornflakes box if I looked hard enough, or if I fucking ate cornflakes. I did a recipe in the Shitty Kitty Kitchen not that long ago, and you had to get cornflakes. And the biggest, or not the biggest, the only box of cornflakes in the supermarket was so big that if you bought 6 of them, you could build a house with them. They were huge. And I just needed a cup of cornflakes. And I was like, I'm not going to eat that gigantic box. There's no way I'm going to eat that gigantic box. So I got a smaller box of something called crunchy nuts, which were still cornflakes, but they had like additional honey and crunchy bits on them. Fuck, they were nice. I've eaten them. Oh, they were too sweet though. They were too sweet. Hey guys, did I tell you about my yogurt maker? I'm obsessed with it. I love it. I love having a kitchen appliance that doesn't have a cord. Just sits there on the bench making yogurt. I went and bought some more packets to try. I got a blueberry yogurt. I can't wait to give that one a go. Alrighty, we're getting there. Put my glasses back on for a second. It's not therapeutic at all. Those boxes are only a quarter. Yeah, doesn't that suck? Remember back in the day when you'd open a packet of chips and they would fly out of the packet? They were so packed, and that when you open them, the release of air would make them fly out of the packet. And now you open them and it's like, awesome, stale air comes trickling out for about 20 minutes. And then your little hand goes in, and right down the bottom, there's 23 twisties. Sucks. Oh, yours has a cord. Interesting. Mine doesn't. It has 2 sort of compartments. The outer one looks like a big, thick black dildo. And then there's a smaller container that goes inside that is where you make the yogurt, and you put water, room temperature water, into that container and the sachet, and you shake it. Shake, shake, shake. And then, like, there's a line that you fill it up to. And then after you've shook it, you top it up with more room temperature water and you shake, shake, shake. And then you put boiling water in the outer container up to a level inside it, and then you screw on the lid on the middle container and lower it in, screw on the big dildo lid, and then you'll forget about it for a minimum of 8 hours. And the next morning, after the 8 hours, you whack that fucker in the fridge, the inner container, and the next morning you have thick, creamy, delicious yogurt. Oh my God. And the little packets are $4.75. I pay $7.50 for the tub of yogurt that I used to buy. And you get a litre of yogurt for $4.75. And it's as good as my favourite yogurt. It's basically better. So, yeah. So I got a Greek yogurt one and a blueberry. And I'm a bit excited about that. Yeah, crunchy nuts and yogurt. Yep, perfect breakfast. Yours didn't come with any. Look, I mean, it's not a sex toy. If you put that in your bot, you'd be in a lot of pain and you would need to go to a hospital very quickly. It's big. But it's quite a nice design. I'm a bit fussy about what sort of appliances I like sitting on my bench. That's why I'll never buy a Thermomix, because I reckon they are fucking ugly. And if there's a Thermomix rep in my chat right now, zip thy lip. You will never convince me to get one. I don't want that ugly thing sitting on my counter, especially when I have to spend $3.5 grand to get it. No, thank you. Right, I've got a punnet of blueberries. I've got a caramello koala. There's my lunch. No, I've actually got oats at work that I'm going to go and make now and shove them in my face. What else do I need to take in with me? My diary. Yep, that'll be good. That'll be handy. My glasses would be good. Right, we're good to go. My wallet would be really good. I need to take the band that I had on my head while I did my makeup because it doesn't match my outfit. Oh shit, I've got 11 of you now. I'm about to log off, baby. So there's our therapy. Yeah, that's what mine's called. I've got the Easy O. Travel. You're so into appliances, Morgan. I'm impressed. I haven't even, I haven't even tried my Instapot yet. I haven't even used it. I think I might be getting rid of that because I haven't even given it a crack. I wanted to. And now I just look at it and I'm like, why? All right. I hope you all have lovely evenings. I hope Brian Laundrie is found, dead or alive, so my timeline has something interesting to watch. I did watch the Australian 60 Minutes coverage of the Gabby Petito case. It was pretty interesting. There was something they said in it that was wrong, but I didn't scream at the television and say, "You're liars!" But I wasn't even watching television. See, now I'm a liar. I watched it on my laptop. But it was an interesting angle because it was really about, and this is what I think channels that are covering it should be focusing on, was could she have been saved and what things can be put in place for the next Gabby who gets pulled over by the cops that might change things and save someone's life. And you guys know that I watch Aphrodite, who does the tarot readings, and the one that he did for Gabby was while she was still missing. But one of the things that he read in the cards was there's going to be a law that's going to come about because of her death. And he said it's like when they name a law after somebody. So don't be surprised if there's, Gabby's law, and it's something to do with raising the standard of inquiry that has to take place when you speak to a couple that have been reported for being in a domestic abuse situation. And the fact that the call to the dispatchers said that they saw him slapping her. And then when you watch that horrible footage, it makes me feel sick, where they victimise her and having a good old chuckle with him around the back of the van. Maybe a law's going to come in the States about a new protocol for when domestic violence episodes are reported, and they've got a much higher threshold about what they do and whether they let them go and all of that sort of stuff. So, if Gabby's death wasn't in vain and it brings about some legislative change that can offer greater protections to victims of domestic violence, then, obviously her parents would rather have her here. But if her death wasn't in vain, then it might give them some comfort too. I don't know. So that's interesting. I mean, that part of it, I think, is worth following the case for, to see if it does bring about some legislative change. That's my jam. But I think that's what the creators should be focusing on more, is how could her death have been prevented? And I really loved that Australian 60 Minutes took that approach with it. I've always felt very strongly about when someone is murdered, if you're going to refer to a case, to put the victim's name in the way that you talk about it. That's why the Chris Watts things shits me, because even I call it Chris Watts because so many channels used his name. It should have always been Shanann Ruchek and the girls. Like, it should have never been his name that got bandied about so much. And I think that's why I'm a bit fatigued with Brian Laundrie, because his name, yes, okay, he's missing, but at the end of the day, Gabby's the one that should be talked about, and how her death might have been prevented, and how can we change things so the next time a couple are pulled over like they were, she's not essentially released back into a fatal environment. On that note, I love you all. No, I don't. I'm lying. Um, have a good day, everybody, and take care. My colleague has just texted to say, is everyone wearing Ugg boots to work today? No, Donna, I'm not. I'm wearing my lace-up black boots. I look a little bit goth today. Anyway, guys, I love you heaps. I do mean that. And when you're out there and if somebody gets something wrong or they make a mistake or they're forgetful, don't go straight to liar. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Call them a caca poo-poo head. Stay groovy, everyone. Bye.